YouTube, welcome back to the channel. You're watching GunplayTV, and today we're taking a look at the NVG30. Now, if you don't know already, this is a digital night vision monocular, typically designed for use on a helmet, so you can get out and shoot, navigate, move around under low light or no light, right? Now, all that being said, I kind of had a unique problem, right? I've recently picked up these AR NVGs, and it's great to get out and shoot under low light. However, most cameras aren't able to see in those conditions. And so that begs the question, how do I kind of bring that content to you guys as the viewer? This being a digital night vision monocular as opposed to the kind of good old-fashioned analog like we see here with the AR NVGs, this is essentially a night vision camera. And as an addition over the NVG10, the NVG30 features a micro SD card slot. And so what that means is you can record from a first-person perspective directly to an SD card. But when I picked up the NVG30, I thought to myself that that would also be a great alternate use case, right? Using it as a night vision camera to capture content for you guys. And so I figured I'd try to stretch its legs and see what it could do in that capacity, right? And so I'll say right now, before we go any further in the video, all of the content that you're gonna see following this is shot directly on the NVG30. Now, one thing I'll say as you're watching the video is the NVG30 actually shoots pretty good under low light. However, its sound recording, its microphone is pretty terrible. And so much of the clear audio that you're hearing was recorded with my phone and then synced up in post-processing just to give you kind of a better experience. So that's kind of the downside. It will pick up very loud noises, but it's really a pretty shitty microphone, and that's one thing that, I mean, if you're going to be using it for a camera, something to keep in mind.
Reach for the sky.
Welcome back to the channel. You're watching GunplayTV. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I wanted to really test the strength of the. So as I'm kind of going through this intro, I decided I'd keep it in the video again just to kind of show how this thing operates under very, very low light. This is kind of me shooting by myself, no cameraman. I've just got it on a tripod, doing it kind of blind here. So, you know, if you see it kind of out of focus, that's why. But, you know, as we look on screen, you see the helmet, the setup, right? It can and is capable of capturing pretty crisp, pretty high definition video, especially with the use of an IR flood, kind of supplement the scene a bit. Got some Hush ammunition from Freedom Munition, so that's a subsonic 9mm. We're going to try to do that today as well, and kind of mix in a bit of testing with my new can. So I haven't really introduced this on the channel yet, but we did just get this out of NSA jail. This is the rugged Alaskan 360. As you guys may know, it's a multi-caliber suppressor. And so I've got it here recently. I've tested it on my 7.62, and now we'll be testing it on the 9mm here with the GHM9. So I'm eager to do that here today, and I wanted to try something different and shoot with the NVG30. So I've got my nods, and this hopefully paints a somewhat realistic picture of what you can expect if you are going to be using the NVG30 or handing it out to a friend, or frankly, a plane flying overhead, or frankly, if you decide to use this or if you decide that you'd like to use this for filming purposes, as we're doing here today. So again, we're going to take this down to the berm, and we're going to get some shots off here. So bear with me. All right, and so in addition with kind of looking at the rugged Alaskan that we have here again on the GHM9, I also have a couple more devices here from Goodnight Gear. So if you guys will recall, the NVG30, which this video is being filmed on, is again from Goodnight Gear. Now these are a couple lambs, kind of knockoff lambs, if you will. You've got them all a Wilcox knockoff there, a Wilcox Raid laser knockoff. So these are going to be laser aiming modules that you would mount here typically at 6 o'clock on your rail. Give them a light test today, right? We've got I'm not sure that we'll be able to capture everything here on camera just because I don't have an expanded card for the NVG30 here today, but we will try to see if these things maintain zero, what they look like under IR, both with my AR NVGs that I'm wearing and on the NVG30. And we'll just see if they hold zero and if they're any good for those of us who are in casual use and just want to pick something up to kind of give it a run. So in addition to that, I also have a Purse 4. Now this is an authentic Purse 4. In fact, it's probably one of the last ones to make it out of Russia before the Ukraine invasion a few years back. So I wanted to test this in comparison to some of these, again, third-party kind of knockoff clone lasers with something that's frankly close to full power, if not full power. So we'll give that a test here today. We'll see how easy it is to get these things on and off the rail. I do have a couple buddies looking to pull up here in a second, so hopefully they're able to help us out with this. So I went ahead and mounted the Maul C1 first. I like it a bit more than the Raid clone because it includes an IR flood. But just as I was testing that out, I had some buddies pull up. So we kind of made the trek back to the berm where we shoot and figured we'd get some use out of it. The gentleman that you see there in the nylon vest, of course, no plates are present. But that gentleman is actually testing out the NVG10 in unison, right? And so he's, you might see it here in just a bit, using the NVG10. Here we see it on screen. And so he's kind of giving that some real world testing as well, trying to navigate and shoot using the NVG10. Now, again, what you're seeing here, this laser, this flood, all IR, this is all picked up by the NVG30. At this point, of course, I do have a buddy behind the camera.
I'm kind of impressed with this right now.
You said what now? The IR?
I'm kind of impressed with it.
I'm impressed with this fucking silencer, bro. Oh, you're right. So at this point, I handed the NVG30 off to my buddy, the same gentleman actually who was running the NVG10. I told him to capture some footage as we took our trucks further down the trail. I'm actually up ahead driving with no lights. You'll see that's why I'm flickering them on and off. I think all I had on was the LEDs. So pretty cool to be able to do that with the AR NVGs. Of course, analog night vision is great for picking up that low light.
NVG30 is way better than NVG10.
So we pulled up to our other spot here, and I just wanted to get some rounds off again with the GHM9 and the Rugged Alaskan. Now again, we're using the Maul at this point, testing out its IR laser. Of course, one of my buddies doesn't have night vision, so we did get a little bit of testing with the visible laser as well. Happy to report it seems both of them keep zero for the most part, and frankly both of them seem to appear relatively the same on the NVG30. So as you can see, right, the footage that you get isn't the crispest, but it's certainly not bad. If you're quick on that focus knob, you can get some pretty good footage out of this thing. So here we are swapping out the battery for the Wilcox Raid clone, just testing it out, making sure that it's working under IR. Of course, my video with the homies is complete without some light jabs at each other's footwear.
That's crazy. These lights aren't on, but the reflection of the lights is popping in the glass in the headlight, so it make it look like they're on.
So here I am just kind of tightening down the Wilcox Raid clone had a pretty shitty multi-tool out there. Of course, a little bit of political talk is in order, being that it's election season, so you know that's just what we do.
It's a lot of Why niggas ain't going for RFK though? When niggas want to be dismissive.
So as I'm testing out the Wilcox Ray, one thing I will say is it's momentary only, so you do have to kind of keep your thumb on that switch. But it's relatively bright, it's accurate. Once I got it 0, it's pretty much where I want it. I will say that the laser on the Raid clone seems to be a bit brighter, whereas it of course lacks the illuminator that's on the Mall clone. So kind of a bit of a trade-off there, but I did like that laser quite a bit. Here I figured I'd let my buddy run it a bit, let him try his hand. Of course, at this point, he is using visible laser. And like I said before, these two are pretty much gonna appear similar on camera. Both do have a green laser, but again, with the Mall C1, you do get a white light in addition to that IR light as well, so that's pretty cool. So speaking of IR light, right, here's my buddy shooting the GHM9 again with that Raid clone. But you can see that IR bouncing off his shirt, off his gun, or my gun rather. But that's something to keep in mind, right? Some of the footage that we're seeing here today is very crisp and very clear, but a lot of it was captured with that IR flood, and it really does help you to get a better picture. Now, I haven't messed with the brightness settings or anything in post-processing, so this is more or less true to what you're gonna get. But again, I would say kind of in closing, 2 things that this thing would benefit from are autofocus, which is probably kind of hard to do, as well as optical image stabilization, right? As I'm moving around, here's my buddy shooting once more with a white light. It's a bit hard to get a steady picture if you're just shooting video by hand. I think optical image stabilization, even when you're wearing it on a helmet, it's gonna make for a smoother walking and navigating experience as well. So those are probably my 2 biggest gripes, but all in all, the NVG30 I think makes for a very good camera. Save 10% with code GunplayTV at Goodnight Gear.